It is Atlanta's #1 hip-hop station, Hot 107.9. Right now, you are locked in with Reec, and I have a repeat offender, a friend of the show. Kamau Bell is in the building. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, brother? Thanks for having me back.
Oh, man, I'm glad that you came back. You know, season 3 is big time now.
Yeah. But, no, of course I want to be back. You got to respect to the people who were there when there was nothing going on. You know?
No, I appreciate that, man. Listen, last time we talked, you had just interviewed the KKK Grand Wizard.
Yes.
There was a KKK rally in Georgia, and I think it's you. Every time you're coming in town, something's happening in Georgia that shouldn't be happening, man.
Sorry about that.
We just had a neo-Nazi rally. Did
oh,
you
yeah.
Did you know that was happening?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Georgia's got a lot going on. The history of Georgia, there's always just been a Klan rally or about to be a Klan rally. So,
right.
I can't take all the blame.
So now we can't give you all the blame, but I'm going to give you some of it.
I'll take some of it. I'll take some of it.
But how's it feel, man? United Shades of America season 3.
It feels good. I mean, I'm excited to get it going. It premieres next Sunday, April 29th, right after Anthony Bourdain's show. And our first episode is we're going to the U.S.-Mexico border. So
wow.
Arizona-Mexico border to talk about people's lives on both sides of the border. So we jump right into it,
Yeah, you all the way right into it. Yeah. Hopefully it won't be a wall by the time you get there.
No, I mean that's the thing. There already is like a structure there that looks like a wall to me, but some people call it a fence. But I talked to a lot of people down there about the wall, and for the most part, border patrol, people who live there, activists, nobody thinks the wall is a good idea.
Wow.
Wow. Just our president. I'm sorry, your president.
Just our president, not yours. Ours. I got you. A lot of things have been happening in the news. We can jump around a little bit. We're gonna get back to the show. But this coffee shop.
As long as we don't talk about Starbucks. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Every black person in America is talking about Starbucks. I can't be like, I don't talk about it. As a shareholder, just kidding.
Right. No, as I'm not going to say Starbucks in general, but you're responsible for getting the coffee shop shut down.
Now, hold on, everybody. That's what people are trying to say. I don't know how you closed down a coffee shop when you didn't get a bank loan to open the coffee shop. Wow. There's a coffee shop in Berkeley called the Elmwood Cafe that just closed 3.5 years ago. Somebody told me to scram because I was talking to my wife and our 13-week-old baby. I stopped by to talk to my wife and her friends, and she was holding our baby. And I was talking to her for very similar to the thing happened in Philadelphia. Right. I'd been there less than 2 minutes. A woman who was the manager of the coffee shop knocked on the window and said, "Get out of here."
Wow.
And so, of course, me and my wife stood up and and confronted the coffee shop and told them it was racist. And they're like, "I don't know. I think he was selling something." I think you're legally allowed to sell things to your wife.
Right?
Yeah, just talking to people. And we did a whole community meeting. The coffee shop promised they were going to change things and have a whole community initiative. After the headlines went away, they did nothing. Yeah. And then 3.5 years later, when this thing happens at Starbucks, I was like, I have some opinions on this.
Yeah, I bet you did.
And so I wrote about it a bunch and did some interviews. And then the coffee shop shut down on Friday, and people are saying I closed the coffee shop, which is impossible since I did not own the coffee shop.
Right.
I just spoke. People... It's funny. I live in Berkeley. It's supposed to be this progressive liberal place. People want to end racism unless it affects their coffee shop.
Right.
Unless it affects them.
As soon as it affects that tall mocha latte, it's an issue.
Then it's an issue. Wait a minute.
We're going too far.
I want racism to end, but not at my coffee shop. So I think it's ridiculous that the owner is, he's a white man named Michael Pierce. He's sort of allowing the narrative to be out there that I closed the coffee shop down. Yeah. So basically, as a black man, I was wrong for having racism happen to me, and I'm wrong when there's less racism in the world. Right. I'm just wrong on all sides.
So instead of taking responsibility for maybe having a subpar product and having a terrible staff,
or whatever it is, I don't know nothing about it. But instead of going, I decided to close the coffee shop because of whatever reason, he's just sort of letting it be out there. Yeah. And now people in Berkeley, hilariously, and there's pictures I've seen online, are showing up to the coffee shop and putting Post-it notes and "We miss you" and "Please come back." Like a child was killed there. Right. You know what I mean? It's just oh no, not my coffee shop.
Wow.
So
there it is, man. If you just tuned in, we got Kamau Bell in the building. He's talking about season 3 on CNN. Of course, congratulations once again on that. His coffee extravaganza.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the thing I want to talk about. This is that it's not about the coffee shop racism that happened at Starbucks or my coffee shop. The same racism that gets those black men arrested at Starbucks, the same racism that gets me kicked out, is the same racism that gets those 4 people killed in Tennessee. You know what I mean? The racism is a whole, it's connected in all these things. The same racism that gets black people killed by the police. It's not like that racism in that coffee shop is the only racism in the country.
Absolutely, man. We just had a sit down with the police here at a thing called Clippers versus Cops. Clippers and Cops. When I sit down and kind of mediate between the community and the police, and they were talking about, hey, we don't know that a person in the precinct is racist until something happens. Then we find out what you find out, and I kind of find that a little hard to believe.
Yeah,
at some point.
Are you saying they don't know their employees?
Yeah, well, he was saying some of their colleagues, which I did agree on some points. He said we don't really know some of our colleagues might be crooked until something happens. Then you be like, oh wow, I didn't know they were doing all that.
It's funny. Not funny. There's an organization in Oakland called the Anti-Police Terror Project.
Wow.
And their idea is that we need to defund police departments and start over. Because the idea is that the way that police officers are trained, I would say throughout the country, is in a way that is racist. Like the ways in which they're supposed to approach people, who they're supposed to look out for. I mean, you look at Ferguson. The police in Ferguson, when that thing happened, aren't trying to save the innocent people of Ferguson from the guilty people of Ferguson.
Yeah.
They're trying to save the white suburbs from Ferguson.
Wow.
So the way they're policing the neighborhood is not about protecting the good from the bad. It's about you black folks. We need to protect the white folks that surround here with money from you, even though most of you aren't doing anything wrong. So
Right.
I think there's a lot to be said about the ways in which police are trained throughout this country. Structural,
More predatory than protective.
Yeah. It's not. They're not looking at a black kid walking down the street with a backpack as a student. They're looking at him as like, what's in that backpack? What's he doing? So I think that I feel like you can't. It's not about individual police officers being racist. It's about the whole system through which we train police officers being done in a way that includes racism.
I feel like some of these topics you're gonna be touching on during your tour. You end racism in about an hour.
Yeah, I know. I thought I did it. It's like Godfather 3. Every time I get out, they drag me back in. So yeah, I do my show, Kamau Bell Curve, Ending Racism in about an hour. I'll be at Santa Clara University on May 2nd, where I go to college campuses because we may have lost the parents, but let's talk to the kids.
I got you.
And I'm still doing stand up. I got a special coming out this summer.
I was gonna ask about that too. Do you you get a little apprehensive nowadays because everybody's so sensitive, especially at college campuses?
No, you know where you're going to. And I mean, you've probably been to places where it's like you have to be performing or something. Like if the worst crowd to play for is like a wedding reception, where everybody knows everybody and they have expectations. That's what colleges are. Everybody there knows each other and they have expectations, and they pay you to sort of be prepared for that. College gigs pay good money. The reason why they do is because they're not easy to do. So people who are afraid of the sensitivity don't do those gigs.
Gotcha.
I step into that knowing these places are sensitive, and that's why they brought me there, and I have to respect that. Or I have to disrespect it and know what happens when I disrespect it.
Got you. Wise words from Kamau Bell for up-and-coming comedians, especially that touch on political and touchy topics.
If you're going to touch on touchy topics, and also college campuses, they're learning how to not be, most college campuses, how not to be racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic. So if you go up there and tell a joke that is racist, sexist, homophobic, or transphobic, you got to deal with the consequences.
Gotcha.
You grown.
Right, you grown. You got to deal with it. That's it.
You over 18. You got to deal with the consequences.
Now with this up and coming stand up, and I don't know how much you can get into it and talk about it.
I can't really talk about where it's at. Netflix.
Gotcha.
So I can't really.
It's okay. So I was gonna say, how do you feel about Netflix? But we won't touch that.
No. I'll come back and talk about that.
All right. So we're gonna
when I'm actually pushing that. Right now, it's all about United Shades this Sunday.
Got you. This Sunday is gonna be crazy. What else can we see during the year that comes up?
We're actually doing an episode about HBCUs. So we actually shot at Morehouse. We shot at Spelman. Tonight we'll actually be doing a screening at Morehouse. We shot at Morris Brown, and we shot at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania. Okay, so I know the over 100 HBCUs we didn't shoot at are going to be mad at me, but it's 42 minutes.
We have a Howard alumni shooting us right now, so this footage might get a little messed up.
We did talk to an alumnus from Howard, so we did get one Howard person in the episode. So please forgive me. We couldn't go to every HBCU and talk to every HBCU grad,
right.
But but we got some stepping in there. We got some frat life and sorority in there, and we got talked about a lot of the accomplishments from HBCUs. So,
I got you, man. A couple of hot topics. One of the guys that works here, I'm not going to say his name, but he went viral for saying that fraternities and sororities need to be over with.
He went viral for that?
Yes.
That's enough to go. How did he say it? Why did that go viral?
He said it should be ended. It should be no more frats and sororities.
Because he talking about blacks frats and sororities. Well, it's funny because when we went to Lincoln University, a lot of the talk there at Lincoln was about how the culture of black fraternities and sororities is different than what you hear about white fraternities and sororities, that there's more about community involvement and community leadership. And so But that's funny that went viral. I feel like it's like the same thing with the police. We've talked about what is this organization here to do and how are they enacting their mission. Certainly there's been much talk about hazing and underage drinking on college frats and fraternities, sororities and fraternities. So yeah, those are obviously problems. And if fraternities and sororities want to stay relevant, they have to address those problems. But absolutely. I'm not going to say they need to ban them because I'm not trying to go viral like that.
No, I feel you.
I've already talked to the Klan. I'm not messing with black fraternities and sororities.
It's a little more dangerous.
That's touchy.
All right, Kamau Bell's here, man. What else can we expect during this season? Not to give too much away, but I'm a fan of the show, so I want to know.
We got one. We're going to. This is our blackest season yet because we got 3 black episodes. So we got out of 8. But we're doing an episode about the Gullah Geechee people of South Carolina. We got an episode. We went to Hawaii this year, which I thought was going to be a nice episode about tourism, but it was actually about Hawaiians who are mad that they're a state. So we talk a lot about what it means to be a state and how Hawaii was. All the Hawaiians I talked to said we were stolen. We did not agree to be a state.
Okay.
So yeah, we got a lot going on. We go to Canada to talk to Americans who, you always hear Americans go, if this person wins the election, I'm moving. Well, we talked to a guy who actually did that.
Wow.
Twice. He moved from America to Canada, moved back, and then moved back again when Trump won. So, yeah.
Okay, that's just some good stuff to be looking forward to, man. I can't wait. Sundays, 10 p.m.
Yep.
CNN, the man himself, and you got some stand-ups coming out on an undisclosed network.
Yeah, Netflix, but don't worry about it.
There it is. Were you upset at all that Monique didn't mention you, the most decorated comedian?
I was actually like, man, I just signed my Netflix deal. You gotta email me, Monique, to know what we're doing. I didn't know I had just signed my deal. Yeah,
it was a boycott.
Yeah. I mean, I agree that we undervalue, and forget Netflix, we undervalue black women as a whole in society, and the entertainment industry is a part of that.
Right.
And so I certainly agree. It's crazy to me that like Wanda Sykes has never like hosted SNL. Wanda Sykes doesn't have a big Netflix special. There's a lot of people, we probably undervalue Whoopi Goldberg on a daily basis. I'm glad she got that job on The View, but like she broke down a lot of doors for people. So I think as an entertainment industry as a whole, we undervalue black women. But then the ins and outs of the Netflix thing, I think Monique spoke very well to it, but I think also other people had their opinion. It was really interesting to see people on all sides of the black community. A lot of times in the black community, we feel like we have to line up around one idea. But there's a lot of different people out there talking.
Yeah,
but I much respect to Monique, and I agree with her point that we undervalue black women in society and in entertainment.
There it is. Wait, with a great answer.
Thank you.
Bell. Right. We appreciate you. We'll catch you on Sunday, sir.
Sunday.
And thanks for coming back. Season 4. I need you here.
I'll be back. And sorry, we'll get Howard in season 4.
There it is. It's Howard on 7 now.